Sweetie, I'm gonna bring up butterflies and you can't throw gang signs right now. You're grounded. Welcome to Sinema Scrutiny.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Victoria.
And I'm Victor. And this is Positively Criminal.
It's positively criminal.
Today we will be reviewing 2005's Corpse Bride, directed by Mike Johnson and Tim Burton.
Overview.
As far as this...
Yeah, that was a really good point. Actually, I think...
Roll credits. Okay. As far as cinematography goes, I very, very much appreciate when a crew puts a ton of work and detail into the sets they make, especially for claymation, which is already so difficult and time-consuming to put a film together like that. They did an incredible job of not wasting any detail. Like, they wanted to put every single thing that they could into this film, along with the character design was so done as well, and everyone has a different shape to them, and you immediately recognize a character when they come onto the screen just because they're all so different and unique.
When the characters are in the real world, it's all very like black and white and dull, as I like to describe it, just like the characters that are alive. They're very dull and boring, which is the point. But
Victor's got great personality. I don't know what.
He's the only one with a personality. And then when they go into the underworld or the afterlife, whatever they refer to it as, it's all very colorful, which is very different than how every other movie I've ever seen depicts death versus life, because usually people view death as like a sad thing. That's very dark and grungy. But in this movie, they really give you a different viewpoint on it, that like death isn't necessarily a bad thing.
And or then, scary, you know, it's not necessarily a scary thing.
It's part of life, and they really bring that out through the colors and the animation style and all that jazz. You like jazz?
No.
You like jazz?
Every Tim Burton movie kind of has that same feel with like the darkness in the beginning, but it usually continues throughout the whole movie. But since the underworld is so colorful, it just adds a lot of contrast to the whole thing, and it's like, oh, maybe Victor is gonna stay there, because it's like actually kind of legit down there, you know? They're having a party! They're raving with their colors.
Whoa, slow down, Maurice.
I hope it was Tim Burton's intention to bring about a theme when we're in our own life and things are getting a little blah and life's not going the way we planned, or it's not going the greatest, and we don't realize that our lives have gone a little black and white. But then, you know, someone brings color back into it, or, you know, we start a new habit or start a new hobby or whatever. And when we look back, we're like, wow, it really did seem black and white. Life just looks brighter, and you look back at your life and you're like, wow, I wish I had made this decision sooner. It really does come through in the movie, and or at least that's how I took it.
There's like a little tiny detail that is almost unnoticed, that at the very end of the movie, you can tell that in Victoria's face, they add more color, like just a little tiny bit, but it's just enough to be like, oh, they have life again, pretty much.
They're finally happy.
Their parents are draining the life out of them.
It's definitely, to me, like it was implying that even though he had a relationship with Emily that was much different than the one he had with Victoria, she still brought something into his life, even if she wasn't meant to stay. We have a lot of people like that in life that teach us lessons and teach us about ourselves, but they're not always meant to stay. But the memories and things stay with you, and he definitely appreciated Victoria more after he was with Emily, even if they weren't meant to stay together.
Emily and Victoria both bring out different sides of Victor, which I think is kind of why, while watching the movie, you're kind of like, who is he going to end up with?
Normally, when you watch films, you can tell if there's a love triangle that the director has someone specific in mind that he wants the audience to root for, someone that they already plan for the main character to end up with the entire time. And in this film, it's really hard to pick who I want Victor to end up with because, like you said, they both bring out different qualities in Victor that are both really good. They're just different from each other, which is very reflective on how relationships can be in real life.
This soundtrack really reflects that. There's 2 different piano bits that Victor plays within the movie, and the first one is called Victor's Song, but he plays it when he first walks into Victoria's house, and it ends with him like meeting her for the first time. And then a little later on in the movie, there's a little duet between Emily and Victor where they're playing a song together. The first song that he plays really reflects the relationship that Victor and Victoria have together, where it's more like passionate and raw feeling almost. And the second song, the duet, is more complicated and exciting, and it just has more layers to it than the first one does, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it just reflects the relationships that he has between the 2 girls, which I really enjoy.
Also, in the soundtrack, there's the song with the skeletons,
Remains of the
the
Day.
bowler hat guy, bowler hat guy.
Bowler hat guy.
Shameless goob plug. Goob plug, that sounds gross.
That scene reminds me of the scene in Dumbo where he's having the bad dream and all the elephants are like weird multicolors and they're like discombobulated and everything. Just the different color schemes that song has, and it's obviously a little creepy because it's close-ups on all these skeletons and everything, but it reminds me of the creepy Dumbo dream.
It's a certified bop, though.
Oh, yes.
Add it to your playlist right now.
Yeah. That should be in one of our favorite quotes.
Another thing that goes along with kind of the whole filming aspect of this is that the audio of the maggot while it's in Emily's head makes it sound like it's in your head, and it's kind of creepy, but it's also really cool because like the moment she pops her eye out, that sounds so weird out of context. I'm so sorry. The moment she pops her eye out, it automatically frees up like it's in the room with you, not in your head, but like while it's in her head, it feels like it's in your head, and it's kind of creepy.
Obviously, like any good old Tim Burton movie, the body designs are very interesting, specifically the chins. Barkus's chin being one of them, he's also disgusting and we hate him. Yeah. Mrs. Everglott's chin, absolutely horrendous.
Positively criminal.
The pastor's chin kind of slaps, but also huge.
Imagine getting slapped with a giant chin.
Wham!
3!
And Heidi mentioned that Mrs. Everglott's chin specifically looks like a giant squash, and I think that is a beautiful point, and I love it.
Beautiful. Can I also just say really quick, Lord Buttkiss, I don't remember what his name is ever. Buttkiss. His chin looks like a butt. So his name is now Lord Buttkiss. Yeah. And he's also a butt munch. So.
Since his name is Barkus, you could essentially go Ruckus.
Why is she so passionate about it? You know, like when those third graders are like, but when she's like, his name is Buttkiss.
Positively criminal.
Also, within the character design, Victoria is adorable, and she's like a little gingerbread cookie, and I love her.
Perfect description.
Also, Emily's dress and veil combo, like how it fades into blue, it's just gorgeous.
It's so detailed too.
Beautiful.
I know for a fact that some of it was animated, being her veil, because it's very hard to imitate that sort of thing, but with some wire, like really thin, almost invisible wire, they were able to actually do some of those scenes with a real veil, which is very impressive to watch.
That really comes out, I feel like, in the scene where she's dancing through the woods.
Yes.
And they just get to the world of the living.
They call it her moon dance, I think. It's very authentic, though. Along with the character design, all of the little bits of emotion that they can put into the little puppets' faces is surprising and makes me very happy. You can only do so much with puppets, and they really stretch that limit, and you can see it through all of their work. Sweetie, I'm gonna bring up butterflies, and you can't throw gang signs right now. Normally in films, butterflies are made to represent transformation and freedom, And something that is really important with Emily is that she had been waiting so long to find true love, and then after she found it, she was still able to let him go because of how he also set her free in a way that she couldn't let go of the fact that Barkis wanted to hurt her, and she thought that it was her fault, the way I received that anyway. And after she had fallen for Victor and they spent all this time together and they bonded, she still let him go back to someone that he was truly in love with, and she matured in a way that she didn't think that she could after she was hurt so bad. And so the butterflies are made to represent her finally being set free. Even though she didn't end up with Victor the way she had planned to, she still got released from all the pain that she had felt all of these years.
I love how the butterfly is like a tie-in from the beginning to the end. Like, you see it every so often, and I think you mentioned this, that it's like the only vibrant thing in the land of the living. And I love how it comes back to the very end where her final goodbye is the butterflies.
The beginning is kind of like foreshadowing for all of that happening because, like you were saying, the butterfly is very vibrant in the very black and white world that Tim Burton wants to present as just kind of a call to him. And the butterfly is the only really bright thing in the beginning of that film, and it's foreshadowing the ending because he sets it free in the beginning of the film, which is just kind of like, oh, this is just telling you the whole film and what's gonna happen. But it's really nice to see how he was in the beginning setting that butterfly free compared to the end where he was also set free as well from her. They kind of like helped each other out throughout the entire film.
That's awesome.
Aw, true love.
Slay.
That was so good. It was like
I'm passionate.
they both set each other free, and I hadn't even thought of that.
True.
That's very
Because
cool.
he's able to love Victoria in a way that he didn't even know that he could before he met Emily in the first place. Even though he doesn't love Emily the same way as he loves Victoria, like you were saying, Victoria is also brighter for that. Emily kind of helped them both find their worth because she not necessarily let Victoria have him, but kind of in a way she did, not even in a negative way. She was like, I can see you guys are both very in love with each other, and even though I'm in love with him, you guys are just supposed to be together, and I'm just gonna fly away from here. So
One thing I do like, there's butterfly-shaped holes in her veil and
I
in her
noticed
face
that.
and all that. I love that.
I love how they come from like everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
so pretty.
And honestly, this is gonna sound so weird, but her final breath, it just makes me want to cry. She sounds like she's releasing just years of stress and carrying all of this stuff that was never meant for her to carry in the first place. And so it's really nice to watch, like, she's just finally getting what she deserves to just be free from everything she's been holding on to.
We've all had first loves, or we're going to have one. And could you imagine if the consequences were that great? Like, her first love, and she literally died.
She literally got murdered and just was resting for years and years and years. And Barkis is so ugly, so she has to just lay in her grave for so long, tossing and turning about how she got played by such an ugly man. Butt kiss.
With a giant chin.
He's literally built like an eggplant. Okay, it's so upsetting.
Positively criminal.
So thank goodness 9 times out of 10, that's not how first loves end up going.
Thank the Lord.
Tim Burton's style is very deceiving because most people that hear the basic synopsis of the film is like, oh, well, you know, it's about a guy marrying a dead woman, so that's really concerning and I don't want my kids to watch it. But the hidden message of the movie is maturity and letting go of things that sometimes you want but you're not supposed to have, and still turning out okay in the end. And everything's not necessarily meant for you, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't good. True love and friendship, the way that friendship ties into love and is so important.
Side point, friendship is magic.
Oh, yes.
In case you were wondering.
And I've got the magic in me.
My little pony.
Ah, my little pony. I used to wonder what friendship could be. There was an article called Love Never Dies by Emma Plunkett, and I'm just going to quote this word for word because I really appreciated what she said in the beginning. Quote, the English author Neil Gaiman said, a world in which there are monsters and ghosts and things that want to steal your heart is a world in which there are angels and dreams, and a world in which there is hope. There are many daunting issues in this world, matters like insecurities, love, rejection, destitution, and death. Life is an uncertainty, and at any given moment it could be taken away from us. But when we are certain about how we feel about something or someone, death becomes a price worth paying if it means a better life for who or what we are fighting for. I just really appreciate what she said there. It was almost mind-blowing to me. It was a normal Tuesday, and I read that and I was like, wow, my life is over after I read that. But in a good way, because I get to meet Bojangles. Slay.
Every single character that is an older woman in this film has large breasticles.
Big boobs.
Big boobs.
They literally jiggle in the first song. The mom's like,
they're like
this, and
boom, boom,
like,
boom, boom.
Like little bongos,
Like-
except they're big.
It's not even just in this movie. It's every Tim Burton movie I have ever seen in my life. There's at least one old woman
he's
with
just
big.
trying to tell us what he's looking for in a woman.
He likes the breasticles.
He likes old packaged women.
Is Tim Burton married?
If you've seen him,
I don't even
would
know
say
what he looks
probably
like.
not. Like,
I don't
no
even know what he
offense,
looks
Timmy,
like.
you are a little ugly. This is a very important point. Is that the maggot is his looks are directly derived from Pete Davidson.
You're so right.
The only important point that we'll make in this entire video is
Period.
that he
The
literally, in the live action film, has to be played by Pete Davidson.
Favorite scenes.
One of my favorite scenes in this film is the first scene where Victoria and Victor are meeting and he plays the piano. It's so calming. First of all, like, the piano in the background is beautiful, and then the little details of them getting to know each other for the first time, and you can see them falling in love, and every second of that scene is so important and incredibly articulate, and I really love that.
Especially when her mom bursts in.
What impropriety is this?
The scandal.
Their movements start off like super clumsy and like jagged because they're nervous and they don't know what to think of one another. Like, is one of them mean? Is one of them? And you can just see all the questions in their head, and then they start talking and you can just see them kind of mellow out.
The guy that choreographed that scene, in a way, his name is Phil Dale, and he's so very talented. Like you said, it was like jagged and slowly softening and really beautiful to watch.
There are two different scenes in this movie that really stick out to me. The first one is not necessarily about the scene, but it's when they're doing their vows for the first time. I just love the vows so much. I think that they actually hold a lot of meaning behind them. I don't know if it's derived from something. This may just be like a regular, like, set in stone vow that they used to do, like, back in the Victorian era, but I just, like, love the meaning behind it. Like,
Can I just interject for a
everything. What?
What vows have you heard that don't have meaning?
They're just words that don't mean anything.
It honestly might be from the original folktale, which it's based off of.
It's definitely derived off of something. Like,
For sure.
obviously Tim Burton didn't
That
just
would be
make it up.
amazing.
Yeah.
If he did, because they are very meaningful,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because
have
they're
lots of
vows. Because they're vows for a
They
wedding.
have meaning
So
behind them.
I
Slay.
just like them because they're super unique. And, you know, because you hear the till death do us part. And that's beautiful in its own way. But this is just something brand new. And taking something that you hear often in terms of wedding vows and turning it into something brand new. It's refreshing.
And the fact that they put that in a film that focuses so solely on death, to just, like, steer completely away from the death do us part sort of thing. Because
Yeah.
even after Emily left, in a sense, but she was kind of already dead, but she was finally free. There was always a part of her that stayed with him, so death didn't really part them.
The second scene that really sticks out to me is the very ending scene. I'm a lover of butterflies. I think they have a lot of meaning behind them, metaphorically and personally in my life. And just like the way that they managed to do that, where they, like, we talked about this earlier, but the way that they have the cookie cutter butterflies out of her whole person, and then she just flies away. I just love it so much. We don't need to bring Elvis into everything.
But he's white!
Positively criminal.
The final scene in its entirety is just so well done, because it has the perfect balance of comedic timing and just incredibly gut-wrenching lines and motions and little details that the entire film is leading up to. They did it so well that I was laughing and crying at the same time.
Emily, her death stare in that towards butt kiss. I know it's bar kissing.
Like this now.
You feel chills go down your spine when you look into her eyes. You're like, yes, Emily, I feel the hatred.
Let the hate flow through you.
Just the amount of detail in that scene, like you can see their pupils dilate. How do they do that?
The detail.
They make
They
make
Lay dots smaller.
they take the dots and they go.
But it's great though. I love the scene where Victor is practicing his lines because he is hilarious and he keeps messing up, but he's an awkward king and we stan.
Yes.
And I love him.
I love the scene where the spider and the maggot go up like blinds. It's a really cool part. Because that's obviously not how spider webs work.
But it's funny.
In the very last scene, when the dead people are mauling Buttkiss, Victoria looks away. It just speaks to her character because she's so pure and innocent, and she still doesn't want to see this person that hurt her get hurt.
Although I was super happy to watch him die.
Yeah.
Agreed.
When he takes
I'll
the
watch it
cup
over and
to
over
his
again.
lips and he
When he goes,
unfortunately
oh, that was awful.
when he puts the cup to his lips, everyone in our audience was like, yeah, drink up,
Just die.
absolute fart face.
You're positively criminal. Pass away.
And he does.
The moon dance scene is so beautiful. The way her veil moves and the lighting, and it's in the woods and it's very secluded, but she's very free in her movement, and I really love that. And then her leg falls off and then she falls on her face. The perfect balance in this film is all of the comedic timing and then like, oh, this is so beautiful to watch, and then they fall on their face. Or he says, and I'll cup your, oh goodness, and all of that.
I love scraps.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are scrap stands.
Also, I like the part where the two dogs sniff each other's butts.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
The most important point.
Favorite quote. Mystery woman, he doesn't even know any women.
What impropriety is this? You shouldn't be alone together.
3 steps. 3.
Your hands are too fat. His neck is too thin. You'll have to use a rope.
Fishy fiance could be canned.
With this hand, I will cup your... Oh, goodness, no.
I will set your mother on fire.
I love a woman with meat on her bones.
It is a bride I fear.
It's my eye, isn't it?
No, your eye is lovely.
Fetch me musket.
Victor was in your room. The scandal.
Back!
Keep it down, we're in a church.
Perhaps in disappointment we are perfectly matched.
Grandpa?
This is wrong. I was a bride. My dreams were taken from me. But now, I've taken them from someone else. I love you, Victor, but you're not mine.
There's an eye in me soup.
Stop fanning it! Thank you. Elegant, cultured, radiant. Victoria has found a husband with all these qualities.
Why go up there when people are dying to get down here?
And now for the news. The dead walk the earth!
Final thoughts.
This movie isn't very long, which I enjoy because my attention span is like, goldfish level. But it's very good and it ties up all the loose ends well. There's plot twists. It's very well done with very deep lines, which you wouldn't really expect, but also chef's kiss. It really reminds you that we're only flesh and blood and, we can be here one day, gone the next, kind of like the article you found. My final rating is 4.5 squash chins.
This film is very near and dear to my heart. I love all of the little details that Tim Burton puts into his films, and although it gives off a very scary feel, all of the lines are very touching, and I carry them with me a lot, and it has a really good balance of comedy and life lessons, and I really love all the characters. They're very easy to fall in love with, except for Barkus, actually. I give this movie 5 forks in the butt.
I discovered Corpse Bride last year, actually. And I had always known about it, but I never really watched it because I wasn't really a huge fan of claymation stuff since Coraline literally traumatized me as a child, but we don't have to talk about that. When I watched it, I instantly fell in love with it. It has so many amazing qualities to it. This movie just really speaks to me, and it's just a wonderful film. It's put together lovely, and I give it 7 out of 5 grandpas.
I'm sorry that
She
we
broke
really...
the scale, everyone.
I did. I love it.
It is very good.
I wish there was more hype around it so I could get more merch for it. Everything's about Nightmare Before Christmas, and that movie kind of sucks.
Oh, Controversy.
Hot
Like and
take.
subscribe if you feel the same.
Like and subscribe if you don't like pickles.
When I first heard of this movie, I wasn't expecting to like it because usually I don't like spooky, scary things. After watching it, it really just makes you feel kind of warm and fuzzy inside. It's really just a movie about the meaning of life in a sense. I give this movie a 4 out of 5 eyes in me soup. Thank you for watching.
Until next time,
Gazoontite.
And God bless.
Roll credits.
hit that smash button and like that subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see us review next time on Sinema Scrutiny.
Were we supposed to join you?
No.
No, I want to see Borps cry.
I love Borps Cry.